Hey everyone, I'm making this video because I couldn't find one, and I imagine somebody else will be looking for it. So I'm getting ready to put in this Hopkins 4-flat exact OEM fit adapter on a 2015 Chevy Colorado. The part number's 41164. I want to preface this with I've never made a video like this before, so this is going to be awful, and I have no idea what I'm doing with this either, so probably going to be entertaining at the very least. I just grabbed what I thought I was probably going to need. I looked through the instructions real quick. I got a light and a knife, drill bits, bits for my driver and my drill, some angle cutters, pliers, a wire brush, and electrical crimper, stripper / whatever. Quick look at the instructions. They're not overly detailed, but I think they're probably enough. The pack contains the connectors for both tail lights, power wire for the trailer module, 15 amp fuse, some zip ties, or that's a dust cover. That's a dust cover for the 4-flat connector, and some zip ties. And there was some, and some terminal grease. There's the terminal grease on the back of that. There's also a self-tapping screw in there for the ground off of the electronic powered taillight converter. So, quick glance back at the instructions. The first one here says on the driver's side to remove the tail light housing. I don't know that I'm going to start with that, so we'll probably regret this later. But I was already underneath here a whole lot because I had to put in the 2-inch receiver hitch here, which was a nightmare. I should have done a video about that because I had 2 bolts that were corroded on there that I couldn't get off. But while looking under here, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the tail light connector on the passenger side. And then that's going to be the tail light connector on the driver's side. So I'm not sure why it has you removing the housing, but I'm going to go ahead and skip that step for now, and I'm sure that'll inevitably bite me in the ass later. I'm on the driver's side here. Just taking a quick look at the connectors on the trailer wiring harness to make sure I understand how they work. The one side has a little tab in here, and then I don't know if you can see that, but when you push the tab down, it unlocks. These connectors on the truck look like they have a little like safety pin almost that you have to pry out, which there, it just slides right out with your fingers. And then we'll push in that connector and it comes right apart, just like it's supposed to. So you seen it came right apart. The wiring harness plug goes right back in. You can't really mess it up. They only fit in one way. Next, I'm going to take this control harness and find somewhere to zip tie it up here on the frame probably. Maybe there's a nice hole right there on the bed. Maybe I'll mount it right up there. But so we'll get that. So I'm still not sure how I'm mounting that thing, but I got the passenger side wire, is this green one, run up over and through the frame, and then you can just see the 4-way, the trailer connector up there, and it comes through and drops down right here. And I just got it dropped out here for right now. I'll figure out what to do. I do have this knockout here. I'll probably get the 7-way adapter and the or 7-pin adapter because that's what my camper actually uses. Right now I just have a little adapter rigged up right there on it. But the next step is to get over to the passenger side here. Oh, if I can get off of this wire here. And we'll get that connector hooked up there. So same thing on the passenger side that was on the driver's side. I don't know if I can do this right-handed while I'm holding the camera like this, but that same connector's up there. I just can't get the little safety thing out. It's all crusted with dirt. I got the little safety thing out. It was a little different than the other side. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks a lot like it, except the way it was in there. The other one, the flat side was out, and I could get my nail under it and pop it out. This one, just this little side was sticking up, and I couldn't get a hold of it enough. I had to get a pair of pliers to get just on the end of it, and then when it finally did come loose, I ended up punching the side over there real good, and now I gotta run upstairs and get a Band-Aid real quick, because you're not doing it right if you're not bleeding. All right, all patched up. Let me see if I can get this off of here. So it looks like it's the same as the other one. I should be able to just push down on the little tab and slide it apart. I think it might require two hands on this side. Even with two hands, I couldn't get that apart. I tried to grab it on the back side here with a pair of pliers so that I had the tab and pull it apart, but the tab, I don't know if you can see, it just like folded right over there. So that was not very helpful. What I was able to do was take my knife and slide it in that edge and just pop that tab up with the tip of the knife, and it slid right apart, like just like it was supposed to. So our next step is to insert the passenger side connector in here, which I'll get to in a second, because I wanna route it up back here real well and go over the frame right there, just so I don't have a bunch of wires hanging down anywhere. So I got that in. Again, you can't really do it wrong because the connectors are matched in a way that they only go one way. I got my wire run up over the frame there. It's just kind of loose in here for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and finish everything else, and then once everything's installed, I'll come back and bundle up wire and zip tie it to wherever I can. There's quite a few like little holes here and there that'll make excellent little zip tie points. Next, I'm gonna hook up this ground wire. It gives you a self-tapping screw in the kit. And I brought a wire brush down because I was expecting to have to clean up the side of the frame and then put a screw through there, but just about a foot back up from the module here, there's already a ground wire on here. And I'm sure this is a terrible idea and it'll bite me in the ass later on, but I'm gonna take that loose and clean up everything there and put that in there and tighten it back down. I can't imagine why using an existing ground would really be a problem, but I'm sure they tell you to screw a hole into your frame for a reason, but I'm not going to, and we'll find out why some other time maybe. So I pulled that off, cleaned up the frame a little bit there, cleaned up the bolt, it was kind of corroded, and then slid that eyelet on there and tightened it on back down, so our ground should be taken care of. At least if I have any electrical problems, I know where to start looking. So the next part of this, I'm gonna take this power wire. It gets hooked into this connector, and then I have to route it all the way up to the front of the vehicle to get it to the battery. Likely what I'm gonna do is there's a wiring harness right here. I'll probably just try and route it with that wiring harness the whole way and then zip tie it to the harness. Hopefully that'll make it a little easier since that's already routed, but we'll see. Once I get to the battery, there's a 15 amp fuse with an eyelet and a connector, so I can splice the wire back in there. So we'll hook that to the battery. We'll run our wire and then hook it on the battery end and hook it on the trailer module end. So I ran this thing through. I left myself about that much slack in it, which was probably a little excessive. I ran it up and cut it through the frame rail here where there was a access. And then I followed that wiring harness for ways. And then it was just too buried up in there, so went around the frame, behind some frame rails, all the way up, and it comes back to that wiring harness back right in there, I think. So I'll be able to zip tie to that. And then I just followed that wiring harness on up to the front. And then it goes up under the frame here, or there, we can see it right there. Goes up behind that cab mount, and then I put it up behind the whatever this thing is that I can't remember the name of right now, and ran it up into the engine bay. And that's the excess, so I probably got an extra 2 feet on the back that I didn't need, and there's a foot on the front, so they give you plenty of wire for this. So next I'm going to wire my fuse in to one of these. I'm not sure which, probably one of them little guys, because that's where it's going to fit. There's actually an empty lug there, but I don't know if I have a nut that'll fit on that, but I might try, because why not? So somewhere in here, we'll add the fuse, crimp the wire, pull the fuse so we're not live, and then go on back to the back and make all those connections before I put the fuse back in. I removed the fuse just so I don't, melt anything. And in case I didn't mention, I had to get a socket set. I didn't show that earlier. But, so the wires run up here. My connection is made to the fuse holder. I could not find a nut, so I just smashed it onto that lug right there. You should definitely disconnect your battery before you do this. I did not, and there was some mild sparking. Nothing, I hope, is broken, but I'll find out later. But that fits under there, everything snaps back in, and then when I'm all done, I'll put that fuse back in, and we'll zip tie up the rest of this wiring back here when we're all done and ready to do that. I crimped the back connection on so we're connected. I hazard to say I'm done with all the wiring, so I think we'll hook up the trailer and see what sparks, and if nothing sparks, I'll go ahead and zip tie all this mess up somewhere, and I'll come back with that. I just wanted to come back and show you this. So the trailer's hooked up to this adapter that's then hooked up to the truck through the trailer connection there. So I just got this camper, but as I was pulling this off, I noticed this ground wire here is not hooked up to the 7-pin connector, and then the adapter has no ground wire coming off of it. So I guess the guy that I got this from was running around with it ungrounded, but it's gonna be grounded when I'm done with it. I'm probably gonna buy a new adapter that'll fit into that knockout right there, that has both the 4-pin and the 7-pin connector, and I think that just plugs into the back of it. But gotta do some Amazon shopping. But we're all hooked up, nothing's on fire yet. I'm gonna start the truck up and check all the lights and see how we did. The blinkers are blinking. They seem to be kind of dim, but I'm wondering if that's because it's not grounded. Can't see the other side over there, but it's blinking as well. So I just gotta test the brakes and shut the truck off before I asphyxiate in the garage. And there's the brake lights. Still a little dim, but again, I'll get that grounded and hopefully that fixes it. All right, the finished product. It looks like trash, but there it is. I have everything zip tied up out of the way where it's not going to get into anything. I got the control module zip tied up behind this piece of the bed here, so hopefully it's protect a little bit from water or whatnot. I don't think that really matters, but anyway. And then on this other side here, I pulled all the wires back. Pulled all the wires back up here, zip tied them up in a nice little bundle. And then for the power wire, running up front here, I went to zip tie it, but I really couldn't find anywhere that it was overly loose that it needed to be. I think I just have it routed through and around and up and over enough stuff that it's pretty secure where it's at. So it didn't really need any zip ties. And then, we run up here and look under the hood real quick. I just bundled up all of that extra power wire there and zip tied it up in there. There's our fuse. So, as far as I can tell, that's it. And nothing seems overly destroyed or broken, so there we go. Got that ground hooked up and sure enough, fixed the tail lights. They're nice and bright now. So, that was it. Ground wire did it.